This is a gangster album, and I'm white boy milquetoast romper wearing.
Welcome. This is CDR. I am Bryn, and my flamenco camouflage buddy right here is Matthew. In his
I think they call it a romper.
a romper.
Yeah.
He's romping. This week we did Busta Rhymes, the Conglomerate, with his 10th studio album being the Extinction Level number 2, The Wrath of God. 22 years since the final World Front in 98, and his last album in 2012, which is The Year of the Dragon. Oh, no, is all I'm going to say to Matt to start off with, but I want to talk about the cover. You like the cover?
Yes. So the artist who made the cover was doing it entirely with ballpoint pen, and it looks sick.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Chanel Rose, she did the cover for him. He also did one for his single a couple of years ago called Girlfriend. She's an amazing artist. She's got a whole bunch of stuff up there. She even has one of her displays in ICA in Singapore called Silence. She's epic. Really check out her stuff, man. 26 tracks, 94 minutes long.
On the version you listened to.
On the version I listened to the extended. Matt did not. He got the 22 version.
Sorry, you didn't tell me we were listening to Extinction Level Event 2, The Wrath of God, open parentheses, reloaded, close parentheses. I only got the first part. So I just go on to YouTube Music and bang, I choose the white coloured album. But no, there's apparently a red one.
And there's been Matt's not a big fan of the hippity hop.
This isn't hip hop. This is out and out gangster rap.
This is right? Gangster rap, and I do love the gangster rap. My favorite thing about the gangster raps, or just rap in general, is the witty one-liners that come through it. And I'm sure you picked up a couple of you like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I will concede that there were some well-written lines in there. Absolutely.
It's all about the diss, bro. It's all about the battle rap.
The problem for me is like there is some element of decoding required for certain tracks and for certain euphemisms, right? I had to explain to Tony in the car, my wife in the car on the way here, that like cheddar equals money.
Cheddar does equal money.
Cheddar money. That was a learning curve.
And bitches is lovely ladies.
Yeah, unless it doesn't mean lovely ladies.
No, yeah, depends what comes after the word.
Yeah, and there's a ton of other words we can't say as well.
No, I did try to count them.
Actually, I'd be curious to see what the N-word count is for the album.
It's huge. It is
triple figures, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely in the hundreds.
Yep.
Definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if it's almost top the 2.
Makes it tough to sing along to.
Yeah.
If you can't tell, I'm going to let Bryn sort of guide this podcast. I'm very much just a passenger on this ferry down the river Styx.
So this is going to turn out to be the worst podcast we've ever done.
Quite possibly. I'm willing to concede this will be the worst podcast.
Yeah? Kid Leroy, you moved up one step, son.
I think we did an okay podcast, but whether the album is better or not.
Yeah, okay. You're not the big fan, and this is not what you're into. Do you at least appreciate the music that goes behind it?
Oh, look, there's no doubt there's a ton of effort that goes into it.
And the Busta Rhymes comes from the area, especially because he's went to the same school as Jay-Z and the Biggie Smalls, and they've always been about like using real music.
Yeah, it drips with what I would say is 90s influence, but this is coming from a completely uneducated position, and like the entirety of everything that I will say in this podcast is just from a total lack of education on the topic. But it sounds a lot like what I remember that sort of music being in the 90s, that like quintessential rap, sort of early 2000s as well.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like it.
It does
the whole way through.
The whole way through.
So you were saying that the extended version is like 90-something minutes. I mean, the normal version is still 80-something minutes. It's not like I shortchanged myself.
No, you did not. This is the longest album we've done so far.
So far.
Matt has been threatening with a 6-hour one.
Yeah, and you know what? Having listened to this the number of times that I did, I got closer and closer to pulling that trigger.
Yeah, pulling the pins, that's it. We're fucking blowing
just
up.
Aiming it at you and just...
And yet I would just be like, oh yeah, okay, let's do it.
Oh yeah, until you listen to it.
And how many times you listen to this album?
I listened to this album in completion from low to go 4 times.
Oh, I am impressed, Matt.
The count will not go past 4. So that's 5 hours of my life and change. For 4 listens.
You didn't want to listen to all the greats coming through. Even, Rick Ross turning up, Old Dirty Bastard.
Oh, look, none of this means
Chris
anything
Rock
to
popping
me.
up every now and then just to let you know who the god is.
Oh.
You don't want
Chris Rock should stay where he's best suited. The fact that Chris Rock makes like 4 guest appearances throughout the album and then basically has what can best be termed as a 90-second chanting rant to
in the middle
to the funeral dirge at the end. You N-words can't fuck with our god Busta Rhymes or something to that effect. Over and over and over and over again, more and more panicked as the progression goes on, and then ends with bitch. So whilst I can appreciate the thick and fast raps and the attention to detail in that space, it's just simply not a genre that I get any enjoyment from. So, like, all of these things that I will agree with being good are purely academic. There is not a single song on this album that I'll listen to again. There's nothing I can get out of
None
that.
of them. You didn't like any of them? Not one? You just like,
no.
Okay, if you did have to choose one, that will be your...
Okay, fair enough. I'm willing to play that game. So if I had to choose just one, it'd either be Sa or Boomp, I would say.
Boom.
What's the one where he has like the breakdown bit and he's like, brah, 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 brah.
Oh, where he's shooting off in the side.
Oh, it's Oh No, that's the song.
Oh No, and that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, so Oh No's okay amongst a sea of songs that just aren't made for me. This album is not made for me.
No, it's not made for you.
And that's why I brought the romper, right? Because like this is a gangster album and I'm white boy milquetoast romper wearing. I needed like it's
you didn't even like the minister in the middle giving out the little speech.
No, I didn't. No, there's a ton of decisions I can appreciate fit the album tone, but I just don't like it.
What about Look Over Your Shoulder with Kendrick Lamar?
Look over your shoulders, honey. Whatever you need. Like, there are parts of the mix that I thought were creative. I'm willing to concede that because the early parts of the album, the music, and this is one of the things that I have trouble with rap, is the fact that I'm really listening for the music, and the music tends to give way to what's being said in this particular genre. And I need it to be a fine mix of of lyrics and well-constructed music, but the music feels repetitive. It just goes on and on and on. It's the same thing the whole way through. So when there is an interesting mix, that does prick up my ears. So like, Look Over Your Shoulders, honey, that's the one with
Kendrick,
Lamar.
yeah.
Like that has a somewhat more interesting mix. Even the intro track's probably up there in terms of interesting because it's like Extinction Level Event 2. And it's like, but
that's right, bitch.
Yeah, and then it moves into Chris Rock, and like so, there's interest in that. So I'm willing to appreciate that. But then there are tracks like The Don and The Boss that I'm just like, God, this is just obnoxious to a point where I.
Yeah, I just put in a fat ass beat with a little bit of keyboard.
And just, it had inane lyrics. I've looked up the lyrics and, it just isn't a song meant for me. And that's fine. And so when I give my score later in the podcast, it's my score. This has nothing to do with the objectivity of it. It's my subjective rating. And it's, spoiler alert, not going to be very high.
I will be joining you on that one.
So you didn't particularly like it? Because this is more like, this is closer to your music than mine.
This was closer to my music than yours, yes. And this, I feel like, missed the board.
Okay.
I was very much disappointed that it wasn't what I wanted to be.
Was it not aggressive enough, do you think?
No, it's like Busta Rhymes has been pretty aggressive. There's a lot of political and emotional going in it too.
Absolutely.
And the fact that I'm not in America and I don't really give a fuck about it and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole and find out exactly what they mean by these lyrics or lines that they're throwing out there and their assumptions they are penning into the stories that they're written. It's just too much. I like a story. I do want it to be relevant, true, but when it just went too political, and I just don't want to hear it.
It's a tough line to straddle because, like, some of the best songs I find have that edge to them.
Mm.
And so I have absolutely no problem with someone putting out a political song, and even a song that I don't necessarily agree with.
True.
Like, for instance, think back to last album, Pixel Bath, like Polizia or whatever that one's called. They're singing about, fuck the police. It's like, well, that's not a sentiment I share, but it's a banging track, so I'm going to sing along to it, right?
Yeah, true. And you do, and I guess this year's been a big driver into their emotionals they have
2020 has been hyper politicized, absolutely.
I found with this album, halfway through, once Mariah Carey was done singing, once she was done, I thought she was done when Carrie Packer fucking kicked it to the curb, but no, she's still coming back. And after that, I thought the second half was better than the first half.
Ooh. See, I probably disagree with that. I reckon the first half was better than the second.
I like the second half. There's nearly 5 songs in a row that I was just like, I like.
Well, I mean, like, for instance, I liked the intro. I liked Tsar. I like Smooth, a slow flow as well. I thought that was okay.
Oh, yeah. Old Day Bass. That was super interesting.
Yeah.
That was just this funky, weird shit going on, and Old Dirty Bastard pulling up, and yeah. And if you've ever seen what Old Dirty Bastard is like, he is what you would call a gangster.
Okay.
Teeth full of gold grill, bro.
Yeah, I must admit that, and this will give you a fair indication as to how unknowledgeable on the subject that I am. I played it in the car with Tony. We listened to it, and Tony's like, I really thought when you told me the album and the artist that it was going to be like, like MC Hammer and Sir Mix-a-Lot. Busta Rhymes has a similar sort of name to those sort of guys. And I'm like, yeah, I also thought that too. And then I looked it up, and then I realized that Busta Rhymes, the one song of Busta Rhymes that I knew before this was Break Your Neck.
That's the only song that you knew.
Literally the only song. And I remember, because I remember being in like high school, like coming out and thinking, oh yeah, this is okay, I guess. And that was about the extent of it. All I remember is he rapped particularly quickly.
He's very quick. He's very good. Yeah. And Look Over the Shoulder was probably one of the few that were the quick raps too that had Busta Rhymes just busting out.
Also the one with Mariah Carey, like the breakdowny bit.
Yeah.
Had
I think
some spit.
They put that in there, and I was like, oh, why? This is a club music song. Why the fuck is it in there? Chris Rock does say it's like, no one's ever done everything except for Busta Rhymes, and he does throw everything in this, even to the point he puts in this fucking
He's got back catalogue. That's what he's got.
Yeah, that's a lot of years. 8 years since his last one, and he reckons, he said it was been 11 years in the making.
See, that's the other thing too. Like, I don't have any context, so when I ask you, like, was it not aggressive enough? I don't know. Is this aggressive as a rap album? Because like there are aspects to it that I think are particularly aggressive, and then there are aspects where he's like, "Come over, girl. Girl."
It's drips and drabs of everything. So it's fucking got all the spices from every kind of hip hop rap genre that everyone likes to throw in, and he's just showing off that he can still do it, and he does do it. I just wish he didn't pick Mariah Carey for the fucking club track.
But who cares, right? Like, it's insert female vocalist here. Like the track before it, is that the one where it's
Best I Can with
that's the one where it's from the perspective of his baby mama, and he's like they're having like paternity issues, but they're kind of sorting it out, and that's kind of what the song. Like, I thought that was
her giving him raps that at least he still was doing the best he can to be a dad while trying to pursue his career. So
there's interest there in terms of the way that the song was constructed, because you had the different viewpoints on the circumstance. Although I do find it somewhat unrealistic that the intro part of the song where the female vocalist sings is talking about, oh, here are all the things that I stuffed up on, and Busta Rhymes like, damn straight, you fucked up. I'm like, I don't know how many arguments I've had with Tony, but generally speaking, I don't come out with Tony giving me a full-fledged apology, right?
Well, it's hard to get one.
You don't get one. It's not hard. It's impossible.
Yes.
So I find that kind of unrealistic, but ignoring that.
Yeah, well, who fucking knows? Maybe she doesn't like his ex-missus. Or who gives? It's his album. He'd do whatever hell he wants. Hey, this is my story. It's 5% truth.
Has Busta Rhymes always been self-referenced as a god? That's sort of a normal thing?
Good question. This is the first album I've ever listened to Busta Rhymes. I just got excited because it's been so long since he's had one. I was like, yeah, going to be fucking sick.
How many times do you listen to it?
Or I'd be about 6, 7. I generally like put my headphones on and then just listen to the whole thing and let it play out.
Were you able to listen to the whole thing? Because I know that you've said on occasion listening to albums can get a bit draining towards the end.
Or if I'm trying to take notes and really like do this, it's super draining because I'm trying to write down notes and things that they said, as well as trying to take in whatever the music is in the background and how it's flowed with the harmonies and the lyrics and the hook. And I've been thinking about the hook and the bring back.
Yeah.
As you would normally find in the center, which is throughout the whole album in every song, is that it will get to the center and then it's got to change up, or it's got to bring in some sort of quick beat drum solo to just pull you back in.
Pull some people back in.
And that's just the kind of guys. Like I'm doing this for a reason.
So like there are songs that do that, like Sa, for instance, brand new suit, brand new car. But like that song, that kind of had that interesting dun 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 dun, and the way that it was being sung, spoken, I don't know, over the chorusy bit, it was interesting because it was kind of not in lockstep with the music that was happening beforehand in a way that was interesting to me. So that's probably why that song sticks out, is that there was a funny little dissonance between the rap timing and the music that I liked. It was good.
Yeah, you could definitely say they stick to a beat.
It kept the same timing, but it wasn't to the beat that the song was playing in the background in a way that I thought was interesting and novel. But yeah, good in the context of the album.
Okay, so let's just put it down. When it comes to the musical side of introducing different instruments, not just sticking to a beat machine.
So if you were to take the best, say, 20 seconds of every track's music and lay it out, I could listen to that and think, oh, geez, actually this album is incredibly interesting and varied. The problem is that those 20 seconds end up just being on repeat throughout the entire track. Most of the tracks go for 3 or 4 minutes, and there's never enough change up to drag me in. And as a quintessential guitar player at heart, like, I'm not listening for a guitar, but I'm listening for
change ups,
something more dynamic. But the dynamism is in the spoken word.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot longer for me to relate to that. And given the fact that I didn't have a strong calling to any of the lyrics that were really being said, it ended up being a very tough album for me to enjoy. And so I didn't. But again, I stress, it isn't meant for me. Like that's the other thing too. I got to stress it enough. Like, yeah.
Well, we did originally do this just to test everyone's boundaries.
Well, you did, yeah. So as soon as you started explaining it to me, I'm like, man, are you just trying to fuck with me? And then we listened to it for like, I think the best part of 15 minutes after last week's podcast. I'm like, you are actually trying to fuck with me. That's genuinely what you're trying to do.
I was not trying to fuck with you. I kind of just fucked myself as well. So it doesn't matter. Do I enjoy your squirmingness? Yes.
As the fucker, you get more enjoyment.
Oh, who doesn't?
Than the fuck
Even
right?
if I've always been like that. Even when we were doing, anyone who was with me doing exercise, I may be in pain, but if I look over and I see you're in pain, it makes my day just a little bit better. Okay, well, I just want to go. You didn't listen to the last 4 songs. I thought they were pretty sick. You got a quick glimpse into Blow the Speakers.
Sounded like every other track.
You didn't hear my man Eminem at the end. Was there any lines in it that you just go, I like the line that they just pulled out?
Honestly, like
put it down like a sick dog.
Yeah, there were some lines like that, but like there's none that really just stand out to me aside from like random moments, like in Oh No, that bum like that. Yeah. That was kind of cool. I liked some of the swag being shown in, like, you know, brand new suit, brand new car. You know, I'm a Sa. You know, I'm a fucking bigger boy. Well,
this is coming from 2 very white boys with a little bit of a tan.
Oh, some more than others.
This is true. I got burnt. Now I'm just.
So, would you like to give a rating for the album?
Well, I probably won't listen to this album. Actually, no, I will listen to this album again just because I want to see if I do pick out something. Plus, I like Oh No. So that might just go into one of my other playlists,
Cool.
not into my CDRs, but I go into my flow list.
Your flow list, yeah.
My
Fair
flow,
enough.
like that's where I put all my hip hop and R&B.
Yep.
Oh, not my R&B. There is no fucking R&B. All the hip hop and rap. But yeah, that Oh No will be in there. Probably Calm Down and Blow the Speakers will probably make an appearance in there, just
Cool.
because I find them super fun.
No, awesome.
No rating.
I'm going to keep asking you for a rating, even though I enjoy the fact that you don't. I'm going to give it a rating.
Of course, you're going to give it a rating.
Would you like to
he's
have
gonna
a
give
guess?
it 3.
Yeah, 2. 2 out of 10.
What got you to 2?
There were, like...
Album cover being 1.
No, he clearly can speak in an evocative manner. The album had a consistent theme, and there were, on rare occasion, music mixes that I thought were interesting. Just all that stuff is few and far between, and the content just wasn't directed at me. And that's fine.
Yep.
It's not for me. So, like, if someone goes out and says it's a 9 out of 10, it's the best thing since sliced bread, cool. That's fine.
Yep.
Just don't make me listen to it.
Just don't go pop. Just don't make them go pop, pop, pop.
Oh, I don't have to listen to it again.
Congratulations, Matt.
Even
You have
better,
made it through.
I don't even have to talk about it again. This is it. Like, fuck yeah.
I'll probably bring it up again.
Actually, that is one line. He talks about having coitus with his missus, and, you know, fuck yeah. It's sort of like a random little throwaway line. And then in that Mariah Carey song that sticks out in the mind. Anyway, it's my turn to pick an album.
Matthew, flamenco dancing, whatever. Go on.
I had to think about it because obviously this is a revenge pick. I'm not going to pick something that you...
Oh, is this country?
I thought deeply about choosing a country album. It's not country.
Well, good, because I thought about a country album too.
So the problem is, right, is that when you chose the New Abnormal, I'm like, actually, fuck, Bryn's got credits in the bank. You spent all those credits on this album, right? So I think you're at neutral, right? That's a pretty good place to be, right?
Here's the best part. I can't be fired.
Yeah, but it would influence maybe the albums that I choose to listen to. So this week's album, I wanted to go heavier, but I think this is probably the right spot. I think there's a chance you might like this album. I haven't heard any tracks off it. We're listening to Ohms by Deftones.
Oh yeah, sick.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's good.
I've seen Deftones.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
See, I'm a good guy. You're not. You're volatile as fuck. Here, have this great album. Here, have fucking 80 minutes of rap. Why? You've done this to me. Ah!
I'm sorry.
Yeah, apology not accepted.
Oh, fuck you.
And that's the end of the podcast.
That's better than Tony over there. That's it. I'll never apologize ever again. Be real hard. Be real hard. Again, blood out of a fucking stone. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, sorry about that.